of the PBL. We do have to calculate volume of our individual object. Maybe yours involves a prism or a cylinder, or maybe you need the cone and pyramids that are coming up in the upcoming lessons. Upcoming lesson, next video, will be cone and pyramid. So we're going to start it off with rectangular prisms, volume. Very simple formula we have here. Volume equals length times width times height. Maybe you're familiar with that one. So we're going to have volume, and with a rectangular prism, length, width, and height really can be assigned interchangeably. So I'll say 9 is my length, I'll say 17 is my width, and 24 is my height. So I'm going to take 9 times 17 times 24, and I get 3,672. Now we are on centimeters cubed, which is our third dimension unit, so everything is going to be cubed. All right, number 2, real simple again. I'll call 10 my length, 4.5 my width, and 14 my height. And so I'm going to take 10 times 4.5 times 14. Whoops. All right, and that does come out to 630 inches cubed. All right, you know the deal. I'm going to want you to calculate this next one on your own. So I will take a moment to allow you to do that. All right, and back checking our work for here, we should get 3,744 feet cubed. So that's going to be our answer on that one. Okay, let's get on to other prisms. Make it a little more interesting. So any other prism, and this actually is the formula that we're using for the rectangular prism as well, is we're going to find the area of the base. We did that a bit with our surface area formula, and then we are going to multiply it by the height. So no matter what the prism is, as long as I find the area of that base and then multiply it by the height, I almost have like slices of the same base stacked on each other. So let's look and identify the base here. So I can see, I'm going to actually change up to a different, right here, this is my base. That is the triangle face. I have an identical triangle face right here, and then that would identify 5 as my height because it is the distance between the two bases, those identical congruent faces. All right, so the area of my base here, this is a triangle. So I'm going to take 1/2, the base of the triangle, which is going to be 12 right here. So you can see, that's this side, which is the base I'm looking for perpendicular to the height. So 1/2 times 12 times 7.3. And I end up with 43.8 feet squared, but I'll leave the feet squared off and leave that for the end. So now I get into my volume formula. I'm taking the area of the base that I just calculated, which is 43.8, and now I'm going to multiply it by the height of the prism, not the height of the triangle, those are different. And multiply that out, I get 219, and now I will put on my feet cubed. All right, so at this point, I'm going to have you work on number 5. So number 5, this triangle right here is going to be our base. We notice we have an identical triangle in the back. So that is what you're going to need to calculate for your big B. All right, to check our work on that one, we should have gotten that the volume is 475 0.2 millimeters cubed. Okay, let's look at our trapezoidal prism. So the face on my trapezoidal prism is the trapezoid here. The formula for area of a trapezoid, since that is my big B, that's going to be my 1/2. I'm going to add together my two bases, which are my parallel faces. You know, you have done a problem similar to this for the surface area. And so I'm going to take 14 plus 36 there. Those are my two bases of my trapezoid. And then I'm going to multiply that by my height of my trapezoid, which is 17.9. And that does come out to 447.5. So that's my big B. Then for volume, going to take big B, so 447.5. times the height. Now the height needs to be the distance between those two parallel identical faces, and that is going to be 25. Now that makes my final volume calculation 11,187.5 meters cubed. All right, notice I'm skipping a couple for you to complete on your own, and we're going to get into our cylinders here. So cylinders, actually still using the exact same formula as before. We have pi r squared times h, and if you recall, pi r squared is area of a circle. So that is really the base of our cylinder. So this is going to be my R, number 9. This is going to be my H. So I have pi r squared times H. It's going to be pi 18 squared times 15. And that comes out to, if I leave it in terms of pi, multiply everything else, you know, kind of treating it like a variable, keeping it tacked on the end. I have 4,860 pi, and then when I do multiply that pi out, I get approximately 15,268.14, and that is inches cubed. That is me using the pi button. If you use 3.14, your answer is going to be slightly different. So I want you to try number 10 now. Just pointing out to you that this is diameter and we do need radius in the formula, so make sure you do your conversions. Okay, so volume here should have came out to 635.25 pi. That's before multiplying our pi out, and that is 1,995.7 meters cubed. Okay, and last we have some applications. This, may be what is going to kind of apply more to our PBL, which is an application as well. So I have a cylinder with a 2 centimeter diameter is drilled through the triangular prism shown on the left. Find the volume of the prism. So it's almost like our shaded area problem, except for now I have shaded volume. So I'm finding this triangular prism, but I'm not going to include that little cylinder hole in the middle. All right, so first, let's calculate the volume of my triangular prism, which is going to be my first object here. So I'm going to make this number 1, my triangular prism. And I need to calculate my big B first. So big B is 1/2 base times height. And it looks like I have 5 and 5. And that's going to be, those are meeting at my right angle over here, my base times height. So 1/2 5 times 5. And that comes out to 12.5. All right, from there, I'm going to find my volume. So I'm going to take my base, 12.5, and multiply it by my height, 14. And that comes out to 175 centimeters cubed. All right, on to my part 2, my cylinder in the middle, which says it is a 2 centimeter diameter cylinder. So that would make make radius equal to 1. So I'm going to take pi times 1 squared, and then times h. We have the same h here, 14. And that gives us approximately 43.98 centimeters cubed. And now for my final volume, I will take that 175 minus 43.98, and that gives me 131.02 centimeters cubed. All right, I'm going to leave number 12, this application problem, for you. If you have any questions, make sure to ask me, and we will talk soon.